We've all been told a very specific story for the last 50 years. A story about liberation, about having it all, and the freedom to choose a boardroom over a nursery. But really take a look around. Does it feel like a choice anymore? I mean, most women I know aren't choosing to work because they're chasing some corporate high. They're working because if they don't, they literally can't afford to exist. The choice aspect of it was the marketing. The reality is more like a hostile takeover of the American nuclear family. The reality behind why you feel exhausted, why you can't afford a house on just one salary, why the birth rate is in a terminal nosedive, it's not going to be highlighted by the social narrative. You'd have to start looking at the hidden incentives behind the largest movement in recent history: feminism. Let's just look at the math. In 1950, women made up about 30% of the workforce. And by 2000, that number hit over 45%. And on the surface, that might look like progress. Wow, more women are working, society's progressing. But look at it in basic economic terms. When you double the supply of something, in this case, labor, the price of that thing goes down. This chart from the St. Louis Fed shows just that. Up until 1970, wages were growing at a much faster rate, but as soon as you see that increase of labor supply, you see the correction that the market makes. The system didn't give women economic freedom. It just used their entry into the workforce to suppress wages for everyone. The glorified second income wasn't the luxury that it was promised to be. It just made the single income family nearly impossible. The thing that you have to realize with every single large movement is that none of them, and I mean none of them, would have any kind of success without some sort of backing from some wealthy elite group. Every large social movement is funded with a very specific goal in mind. So you got to ask, what are the incentives to push women into the workforce? Is it more likely that wealthy individuals who throw all kinds of wild parties where women are treated like objects really care about women's rights and equality? Or is it more likely that they knew that if more women worked, they could just pay everybody less and suppress everybody's wages, making themselves more money? Does it sound like an incentive hiding behind a social narrative of freedom and equality? Because even with two people working, we are not any richer than before the peak of feminism. Today, it costs more than 5 times the median income to buy a house. The unfortunate truth is, inflation isn't all bad. It highly benefits those who own assets like property and businesses. Who it hurts is obviously the consumer. People who own property in the last 50 years absolutely killed it. But because the labor supply is now saturated and there's no more wage growth that keeps up with inflation, there's no way the average worker can get a piece of this without somehow making a lot of money very quickly. But meanwhile, who does get rich? The people who are already rich, property owners, business owners, as the stock market keeps piling higher and higher without a real solid reason as to why. This is not just a side rant, by the way. This connects back to feminism. The feminism narrative of pursuing a career often comes at the cost of relationships and marriage. People today stay single for so much longer than they used to before feminism. In 1960, the average age of marriage was 21 for a woman and 23 for the man. Now that's 28 and 30, respectively. But bro, that's just because women were being taken advantage of. And when people stay single, they tend to buy 2 of the things that married families would buy. Maybe 1.5 of the things. This drives the consumer market and keeps large corporations selling these things to you with a larger customer base. Think about it like this. It's not 5 families shopping for things. It's 10 different individuals shopping for different things. I'm sure you can see how that benefits corporations and not you. The problem we face as a society is much larger than just rising costs or the need for a dual income household. Introducing population collapse. Did you know that in order for civilization to be sustained, the fertility rate needs to be around 2.1 kids per woman? Let's see what that fertility rate in the US is. 1.6. No, but in all seriousness, this is kind of a problem, like a really big problem. In 1970, the average age of a first-time mother was 21, and today it's closer to 27, and anyone with a college degree, it's over 30. But bro, that's just because women didn't know any better and contraception wasn't as widely available, and men just suck. You're right. Let's trade the most fertile years of a woman so that they can contribute to a higher cause. The tax base and the stockholder value gaining 6% this year instead of 3%. I mean, do you see the psychological warfare here? Thinking that a mid-level promotion at a firm that would literally replace you in 48 hours is more important than the core human experience of raising a child? Not to mention the next level of delusion, dinks. Just the literally just the perfect little consumer unit. Highest disposable income, no family obligations. What's not to love as a corporation? Let's just not even. Now, I already know how many bot comments are going to call me a misogynist and that I hate women, but I think more and more people are just waking up to the truth and that these labels really just don't mean anything anymore. The key point I really want to bring across is that the best outcome for society is a man and a woman who get married young, who have children relatively young, who grow together as a family where the husband works extremely hard, which, by the way, most men don't today, topic for another video, and where the woman raises the family. Like I said, more and more people are going to realize that fighting nature might be what's actually wrong, not aligning with it. So when you see a commercial telling you that your career is your identity, really ask yourself, who benefits? The CEO benefits, the IRS benefits, the banks benefit. The only person that doesn't benefit is you. Being a mother is the most important job on the planet. It's the only role that ensures that the species exists in 100 years. But because the GDP can't put a price tag on a mother's love, the system has spent 50 years trying to convince you that it's a trap. If you disagree, please tell me why in the comments. If you found any value, I'd highly appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you really liked it, maybe hit the bell for the next video. These are the hidden incentives behind feminism. I'll see you in the next one where I'll be covering one of the side effects of the feminist movement, the loneliness epidemic, and the hidden incentives behind that.